Okay, guys, welcome back to my channel, All Nerd Everything, where I discuss all things film related, TV shows, comic books, anime, wrestling, all that jazz. And today I have a special guest with me. And for
Hmm.
anyone who isn't aware of him, he's a current filmmaker and well, current director and future Oscar winner, if I were to
Thank you
say
for
so
that.
myself. But introduce yourself for people who aren't aware of who you are.
Well, I am Jalen Draco Mays. I can tell by the shirt. Draco Mays is my videography slash photography name. I'm a filmmaker, so But my real name's Jalen. As you can tell down there, there's my TikTok. Follow your boy. Check out my stuff.
Yeah, and if for people who aren't aware, we met over TikTok with I think it was Bilal. I met a lot of people through Bilal, but what made you first fall in love with film?
As you can tell behind me, I'm a big fan of movies. A big inspiration would be my uncles. Because I had an uncle that I lived with, an uncle that I used to visit like very frequently. Like my mom had work, I'll go to his house, and he had a big movie collection. I would just pop stuff in, and when I leave, he let me take stuff home. So that's how I got to experience a lot of stuff I wouldn't have like beforehand. And he used to let me keep some of the movies too. So those became like my nostalgic movies, and that's what I hold close to me now to this day. Thanks to that uncle and my other uncle that I live with, same thing. Let me borrow them, watching them, bam, loved them.
Okay, I'm sorry for the interruption. Continue what you were saying.
Oh, you didn't
That's
hear
going to
what I
get
said?
edited out.
You didn't hear nothing I said?
Now I heard the first. I heard the first half because the it disconnected, but that's gonna get. I'm gonna edit that out.
Hmm. But I could redo it. Like you like re-ask the question and then I could redo it.
But okay, how did you first fall in love with film?
Well, as you can tell behind me, I obviously like it a lot. A big inspiration for my love of film came from my uncles because there's one I live with and one I used to visit like very frequently, and they both would let me borrow movies and I would watch stuff all the time. Like one of them had the Back to the Future trilogy. That's how I fell in love with that series. Uh, Cat in the Hat, even. I don't even know why my uncle had Cat in the Hat, but Cat in the Hat's one of my favorite movies to this day. But them having their collection also inspired me to get my own collection because I also want my siblings to have the same experience I had with seeing this big old media wall and be like, "Ooh, what's that? What's that? What's that?" and borrowing stuff. Like I want that for them.
Right,
So
right. That's kind of like. I mean, that's how I started my physical collection because my dad has like 8. Okay,
uh,
but the physical media collection behind you, obviously, we can tell you have plenty. And if you can remember, what was the very first movie or TV show you got on physical media, and what was the last one you just got?
man, I could show you right over here, right over here. Like realistically, dang, I get it out. This is the first thing that I bought. Everything Everywhere All at Once. This was like October 3rd, 2022. This is the start of my addiction. But I still do have some DVDs from my childhood, actually. Like, I have my original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze from like 2005, 2006. But it's like, hope is down here. I can get it real quick if you want to see it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ugh.
That's what we're here for.
Gotta move around. Ugh. Here we go. With all the scratches and beats and dinks and all.
I have
This
yet to see this.
nostalgia. This is I grew up on this movie. I didn't even see the first one until I was like, I don't even know, until years later down the line. Surprisingly, the disc ain't in too bad condition. But what's crazy is I have bought this in like a newer, updated version, and I actually got it for free somehow. And then my sister was like, "Hey, look what I found." I'm like, "Wow, look at that."
Yeah, when it comes to TMNT, I'm not too deep in the lore of it, but I mean, they can't be as bad as that, that Mortal Kombat film that came out.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that one.
I got this. I saw this article. I mean, this video. This guy posed this question. I wanted to ask you this question. Do you ever see video game films replacing comic book films?
I'm gonna be real. I don't think so. Because comic book characters have been just too ingrained in society. Excuse me. Even before Marvel, not necessarily saying it's a niche, but superheroes weren't always this big and popping. Because, like, tell a girl in the early 2000s about some superhero stuff, they ain't gonna care. But
Right,
now they might be like, "Ooh, the movie's coming out. I think I'm interested now." Even though Marvel's not in the best spot right now, I don't think superhero in general are going to fall off out of society. Video game adaptations are doing a lot better now compared to back then, but I don't know if it's like the universe for Marvel is different from an individual game, so I don't know if it can replace. They could be at the same level, but I don't know if it can take over.
right. And when I was younger, like this is before I got into reviewing films, I used to always take Rotten Tomatoes scores seriously. And now that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of more people have their own opinions on certain films, are there are there films that Rotten Tomatoes have rated high where you're like, it was good, but it wasn't that good? Like, I mean, what's your rating scale that from how you like to dislike something as opposed to theirs?
Well, I don't keep up with Rotten Tomatoes too much, but it has been. I guarantee you, I can look up a movie right now and see something that I like, but they rated badly. Because I'm gonna be real, I like a lot of bad movies. Like we can always tell when a bad movie is coming up. Like I
Right,
seen a tweet, somebody was like, "There's no such thing as a bad movie. If you liked it, it's not bad." Writing, visuals, directing, it can all be felt by the audience. So a bad movie does exist. You can tell when a movie is not the best. So I don't really care about what the critics say. If anything, I would trust Letterbox, not necessarily trust, but I'll take Letterbox average rating more than a Rotten Tomatoes score because Rotten Tomatoes is weird. Like most people, including myself, didn't even like learn what Rotten Tomatoes scale really meant until fairly recently. Like I've learned like 2 years ago that it's percentage like a total amount of how many positive reviews there are, which is kind of weird because you would think like, which no, I don't know if it's weird because it'd be like 97% of critics liked it, which isn't bad, but like people would think the movie got a 97%, meaning out of 100, it get 97% like a grading, like a 90, like A plus. I think
right,
that's how a lot of people viewed it as. But mm, it's very tricky because they could have like I don't know if a 6 out of 10 or a 3 out of 5 counts as a positive review. But if that's the case, and they having it in these people liked it, this is certified fresh, it kind of gets tricky
right,
because everybody's rating is like vastly different. Somebody's 5 out of 5, somebody's a 3, and they in the same category. Not really. I like dividing and doing. Realistically, I like doing out of 10, 1 out of 5
yeah,
because I can't keep saying 2.5 out of 5. Like I can, but I can say 5 out of 10. It's easier in my opinion.
right,
And plus, I'll be doing like half decimals for every number. 6.5, 7.5, 8.5. I even have a 9.5. It's almost out of 10, almost, but not quite. You can't do that with the 5-star rating necessarily.
right. Like what I know when it comes to people's opinions on films, it is definitely. If I mean, if you say something usually, what's a film that or some films that you particularly aren't a fan of that many people will have been like, "What? You don't like that film?"
Hold on, could restate the question because you had froze.
Oh, the question was, are is any films that a lot of people might be shocked that you weren't necessarily a big fan of, like a majority like this film, but you thought it was just decent or wasn't a fan of it?
I have a million, billion, cajillion. I can pull up my letterbox right now, but off the top of my head, my biggest offenders is 2001: A Space Odyssey and Blade Runner. I watched those around the same time, and I was pretty disappointed. I gave them both a 5 out of 10, and people were like, "Nah, bro, you just don't see the vision, bro. Like you ain't understand." Like I understand. Like in all honesty, on a rewatch, I probably would like it more, but as of now, I ain't a fan for real, man. But I'm gonna pull up my letterbox right now to see even more. Um, I rate a lot of horror very low. Sadly, the horror genre is not the best in cases. I wasn't a fan of Midsommar. I gave that a 2 out of 5.
That traumatized me. I don't ever want to watch that again.
I don't blame you. A big offender, Triangle of Sadness from 2022. That movie was getting a lot of critical acclaim, and I was kind of like, I watched
Yeah,
it. I watched it twice too. The first time I watched it, I gave it a 1 star, and I couldn't even finish it. I'm like, this movie's just, I feel like it was just too dragged out. It's like it's not even funny, and the
right.
satire elements kind of like, I don't know. But then I rewatched it, and the movie like does a whole 180, and I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting, but still, 2 out of 5.
Right.
Uh, it Follows. I wasn't a fan of that one, and it's a very critically acclaimed. I don't say critically acclaimed, but like audience acclaimed.
And I'm not too big on Triangle and Sadness either. There are a lot of phenomenal films that haven't won an Oscar, and there are some mediocre films that have won Oscars.
Yeah.
So what's on your when it comes to, we all know you want to be a director. So what was the very first project that you've done, and how would you say, what advice would you give to people that want to, pursue that job?
Well, I've done short films in high school, but they aren't necessarily good, I would say. Everything's like, learning stepping stones and all that. But like my first real short film I would say I did is called Untitled Horror. You can check it out on my Instagram at Draco Maze or my YouTube, also at Draco Maze, Untitled Horror. It takes place at a train station. And we shot it for 8 hours straight, like 7 p.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oof.
And yeah, and like I don't have a budget for none of this stuff. Everything I do or I have to pay for will be out of pocket. I own most of my equipment anyway, so luckily I don't got to rent or nothing. But one thing you need to do 100% when you do shoots is pre-plan. Pre-planning will save you a lot of time on set. You got to be quick on your feet too. If something doesn't go right or noise is an issue, you got to change some things up. Like you got to be able to be the most effective with your time because especially being an independent filmmaker, you're most likely going to be working with your friends a lot. And with being friends, y'all have a connection. Y'all have your own niches. Y'all have your own things y'all find funny. So y'all could spend 30 minutes goofing off over the littlest things and like you're enjoying yourself. But realistically, for time, got to cut it out.
Right.
So, but it's kind of hard, like getting people that you don't know to commit, especially for 8 hours. And 8 hours, that's like we shot it all in one day, luckily. But imagine you got to come back. Like the morale is not going to be the same because you,
Right.
as the director, are pretty much going to care the most about the project more than anybody else, unless they're getting paid. But 9 times out of 10, ain't nobody getting paid. You ain't even getting paid. So
Yeah.
you got to have just find people with genuine passion too to help out. Because I'm sure your friends will be down, but the passion may not be the same in the long run. It may not work out. But you definitely got to make sure pre-planning, everybody know their lines, and if they don't know their lines, when you first get on set, all setting up and all that, tell them go over them lines before you even record. Have them like do a practice record, getting them used to the camera and all that, recording their lines together. They can be on
Right.
their phones, even reading stuff. But make sure when it's time to like press record, be done straight through. Cause you can waste a lot of time. I'm telling y'all, I've
Right.
done it.
And every director has their style of directing.
Hold on, yeah, it froze. Excuse me. Your
Oh,
stuff had froze.
yeah, but don't even worry about it because it's gonna get fixed. But
They said
what I was gonna ask was every director, they have their style of directing, but how do you what's your relationship with your actors in your film? Do you allow um, improvising, or are you one of those directors that are like, "Hey, follow the script"? I mean, how's your relationship with your actors?
well, every actor I've pretty much worked with has been a friend. The only time I didn't have I didn't know the actors until literally the day of the shoot. It's something I shot in February. Like I made maybe like 4 drafts of a script, not knowing any other people personally to be like I have them in mind, how would they speak and all that. Uh, Literally didn't know nobody until the day of, and it was kind of weird because I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like I knew one of the people, but I didn't know them. Like I went to, like she goes to my college. I went to high school with her, but like we never engaged for real, so I don't know her enough. So usually when I'm on set and stuff, my people have a mutual. I'm talking to them throughout the week. We're planning things. I might even do a call, like FaceTime call with the other actors, and we all read over it. But this time I didn't have that, so I had to be a little bit more on top of things, I would say, because me not being in that control ended up with nobody having the correct script, and bam, now we sitting there trying to go over the script because they memorized 2 different scripts, which is crazy to say, but none of the scripts was the ones that we actually needed to use. But you could say it's my fault for not finishing it sooner, but it was rush production. I don't know, but my short film Untitled Horror and Obtrusion, for example, those are 2 people I know very well. My short film Obtrusion, which I don't know if you've seen it, takes place in a house and they watching TV, fall asleep, somebody breaks in. That
Yeah,
that's with my cousin, like not my cousin, but my cousin,
yeah,
childhood family friend type thing. So my relationship with him is very strong. You can tell that in the bloopers. There's a lot of funny stuff going on between us. But this also goes to me saying like on set it could be unserious and jokey, but at the same time that kind of keeps morale up because nobody just want to be straight acting straight through to get it in and out. You want to make an experience, a very enjoyable experience, but still be serious. So me knowing the people that I work with can affect that negatively, but it also builds the relationship stronger because like now we got another memory made together. We made some art. We spent more time together. It's fun, you know. But it's a mutual understanding. Like it's still like this is something serious. Let's get it done. I'm here to work. So
right. And there have been, when it comes to directors and actors, there's always that it's always important to have a mutual respect and understanding for each other. So, I'm one of my favorite director actor relationships is freaking Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, Denzel and Spike Lee, Robert De Niro, and Scorsese. Do you see? Do you think that you can have one of those? Would you say
mm-hmm.
you have one of those relationships with your actors, or are there people that you have worked with where you see yourself working with him in the future again?
100%. My cousin that I stated, and that was in my short film Obtrusion, he's 100% going to be, we're going to have that type of relationship because he's also writing scripts himself. He's graduating college, so he's going to be back here more. I'm going to be real. I haven't, or at least haven't released too many films, I would say. I have stuff that I work on that's like not released. So I still got that experience. But my cousin, he's been wanting to act since forever. And I've been wanting to direct since forever. So that right there, match made in heaven. So, but it's just like our schedules, him being away in college and me still being here, going to college. We plan on going to, like, we was in middle school talking about, oh, we're going to go to Juilliard together and work together.
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen. We knew that wasn't going to happen. But, yeah, it's like we family. We have similar interests. We gon' work. This summer, I told him, like, I want to make one video a day. It don't necessarily got to be a film. It could be something music related. It could just be anything. A skit. I don't know. I just want to get to working.
Right. And you know that those relationships are very crucial, and you definitely need, I feel like every director needs that actor that'll push them to their limit. So would you say your cousin kind of, y'all like work well with each other, and he pushes, he gets the best out of you, bring the best out of him, and he brings the best out of you?
Yeah, definitely. Because this is like one of my, I have a closer connection with him than some of my real cousins, my blood cousins. So we just like that.
Yeah. And with, you know, with were there any other, aside from, I mean, do you see yourself possibly also producing as well? Like, do you want to produce a lot of the
Mm,
stuff that you direct and write as well?
100%. When I get into Hollywood, maybe a little different situation. Somebody just might want to hire me, just to hire me. But okay, cool. I need the money. I like the idea. Let's get it. Sacrifices will definitely have to be made in the future. I may not always have the most amount of creative control, sadly, but sometimes that's just what the job is. You have to do one thing only. Don't overstep, even though it is your vision and your creation. Don't make no bad blood, but still got to stand on business. Stand on what I want, my vision. Try to get the best product out there. But producing is definitely something that I'm interested in doing. Right now, I technically have to produce everything that I do. I'm kind of a one man band, writing, directing, producing. Right now, I got a project I'm doing Saturday. I got to act in it as well. Uh, Luckily, I got a cinematographer for that because being in it and recording, hard. Can't do it. I need to be able to have somebody that I trust that knows how to set that shot up, make it look good. Of course, I'm going to get approval anyway, but I don't want to have to approve. I just want to know that you know. And luckily, I have one of those people that I've been working with since high school. And he
That
got better equipment than me.
that's very, that's a lot of hats you have to wear. I mean, actor, director, writer,
Writer,
producer.
editor as well.
Oh, whew, that's definitely a lot. So, what editor? So, what do you see your, aside from like r- directing, writing, and producing? Would you see yourself maybe like, I know you said editing, but have you thought about like, you know, composing your own like music in your own film or anything like that?
You see, I did it one time, like on GarageBand, like just literally play some piano keys for like the end credit scene for one of my school projects. It doesn't sound the best right now. The keys was off, but I am not a musician. I did band when I was in fifth grade, and after fifth grade, I stopped. I promise
Right.
you, if I kept it going, I would be over here composing stuff because I was in percussion too. So I knew the keys were like I had a bell kit. I knew the keys. I feel like that would have translated well for piano. And I always wanted to learn piano. I love piano. Like I want to learn it so bad. My girlfriend knows it. She might teach me. I don't know. But composing my own music would definitely be something I would want to do, but I don't know how. So
Right. And the where would you see, what are your ambitions and your goals for when you become a Hollywood director?
Well, you already know we gotta switch it up on them now. Got to put the pro black hat on.
Yeah,
But nah, my main goal as I'm just kidding, but my main goal as a director is I really just want to tell stories with black people that don't have nothing to do with trauma. Like I just want us to be in things. Like I just want like when I write my scripts, I never have no descriptions about race or nothing. Like none of it's race based. I'm not trying to be woke as they say nowadays. Like I just
right,
want to literally just show you like black people exist and you're gonna have to get over it. We can be tied to stories that have nothing to do with slavery, racism. Of course, being black comes with its own specific experience, and it'll be in my work. But that's not the main thing. Like we can have sci-fi adventures as well.
right.
Like, come on now. So that's my main goal. Like I have a lot of stories. I have a lot of relationship-based stories, but I do try kind of want to try to like subvert things because when you look at Tyler Perry and other black, not even just Tyler Perry, just other black stuff in general, it kind of always deals with cheating. But like cheating isn't necessarily just a black thing, so I understand. But like
Yeah,
a lot of it deals with infidelity. It's like, well, I thought we could tell some other stories other than just cheating sometimes, or at least subvert the way instead of just cheating on me, I'm done. And now it's a journey of me overcoming the situation. I don't know. It could be subverted somehow, some way.
right. Like I thought it was completely ridiculous how a lot of people were upset because Jordan Peele said he will not have a white actor as a lead in his film. Like I thought that was completely ridiculous. Like
Oh, that's
y'all don't,
ridiculous.
yeah, like y'all don't
I mean,
complain when a lot of these white directors have white leads.
oh, you
Like,
saying the backlash is ridiculous?
yeah,
Others saying him saying that's ridiculous. I'm
no,
like,
no, no.
I'm like,
The
who kidnapped?
backlash that he
Yeah,
got from saying that is
yes,
pretty silly because Nolan, I love Nolan. He's one of my favorite directors, but he
yes,
has
same.
all of his films are British white dudes.
I can't. I'm pretty sure he has had black people in his movies, but I can't tell you one black actor right off the top of my head. In all honesty.
The only person the only two actors that he's used in his film, one was Morgan Freeman, and
Yep. I don't know why I didn't think.
he was a token black dude in the Dark Knight trilogy. The
Yep.
only black person in those movies.
Yep.
And the other one was John David Washington in Tenet.
I still haven't
And
seen Tenet, sadly.
I'm going to watch it, but I'm not. I I, I just want to hurry up and get it over with because I know for a fact,
Your brain's gonna be ready to explode
yeah,
in a
because
bad way, not a good way. Like, whoa, it's gonna like,
I've heard mixed like actually I don't I haven't heard anyone say anything good about that film.
I've heard some people say it's a masterpiece, a hidden masterpiece, and all that. I watched like 20 minutes of it with my mom, and mom was like, "We gotta finish this later. I can't do this."
Yeah, that
Because we had to keep rewinding. I'm like, are we tripping right now? Like, what is going on? And like, just the first 20 minutes, we so confused.
I think that's a problem with a lot of films like that are okay when it comes to certain film. Do you think there's a difference between conveying a having a great movie with a great message to a great premise that's ruined by like bad narrative or bad writing?
Definitely is. I feel like a recent example of this could be American Society of Magical Negroes. Great premise. I wouldn't say that the writing is necessarily bad, but the writing of the story is mainly centered around romance. We did not explore the magical elements enough. The backlash for the movie is kind of crazy because the movie's not necessarily like trash. It just doesn't fully deliver on what the name promises. The trailer already promised us. It already showed us what we're gonna get, a romance story. So I don't know what people fully
Right.
expected, but the writing, I wouldn't say bad, but misleading.
Well, and hell, that got me thinking of there are obviously a lot of old old movies that probably wouldn't fly by today's standard just because you know a lot of scenes being a lot of scenes that they got away with back then wouldn't fly with wouldn't fly by today, like real real for real podcast. I think when you were on there he was talking about Tom Hanks in the Big movie,
Oh
and
yeah,
yeah, that would not fly by today standard at all
a
because
lot of
he
stuff
was a
wouldn't fly.
kid, and then now he's a grown man, and a he had fornication with a grown woman.
Yep. And it's like also that same premise, kind of like 13 going on 30, even though she was 30 and it was dudes, grown dudes, like the grown dude in her. Have you seen that movie?
The 13 going on 30?
Yeah.
No, who stars in that?
Jennifer Garner,
Oh no, I
Mark
know
Ruffalo.
what movie you're talking about, but I need to add that to my watch list.
Yeah, but in that movie, since she's 13 in a 30-year-old body, like technically she's of age, but she's got the mind of a child. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like if you put it in perspective of that, showing a woman, they'd be like, oh, I feel like, because you know that double standard of how people think, sadly,
yeah,
it's real. It's sadly real. But yeah, that's a child in a grown man's body. No.
yeah.
Oh,
And
also, I don't know. I don't know why I thought of 13 going on 30 before, what's the name? Poor Things. But
I was just about to ask about that because I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
I saw it in theaters, actually. Yeah.
Is it as good as everyone says it is?
I'm going to be so real. I had no interest in seeing that movie. I saw it just because I'm an A-lister, but I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I expected. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It was pretty good. I definitely did not expect the sexual content. Like, I'm not one of the people that's like, movies do not need sex in it. But this movie, I'm like, dang. But I understand. I think that's the point of the movie. Like,
Yeah,
but it
I
was
do think um, that I a lot of times they do go overboard. Like for me, I've always said that when I become a director, I'm never ever going to do a sex scene unless the actor like requested themselves.
which they
But
probably won't.
yeah, because like I do remember the Hangover, Kim Jong, I believe that's his name, the Asian actor from the
I
Hangover.
believe that's the name.
Yeah,
Oh wait, no. Ain't this game like Ken Park or something like that? I'm not
yeah,
thinking of a TV show he was in.
Ken. Some I know it's Ken something. I can't remember, but I do know in the original script he said he said that
Yeah, Ken Jeong.
he was wearing clothes, but he told the director that he thought it would be funnier if he popped out of the trunk naked.
And which it,
Yeah,
because it's kind of like what the hell? What? Because
right,
I feel like it's different though for dudes though. Like if like a woman did it, it wouldn't be as funny.
right. So, which I mean, when it comes to like nudity in film, there are times where it's hilarious like that, and times I feel like it's
Hmm.
not necessary. But what's your stance on nudity in film? And would you, I mean, could you ever see yourself doing a nude scene in one of your films?
All depends on context. Right now I'm only 20, about to be 21 in June. I don't know if it's a lack of life experiences yet, none of that, but I'm just not thinking of stories like that necessarily. You can easily place it. Like if you want to write it that way, write it that way. You can literally create any story you want to if you write it and make it make sense. But as of now, I just don't have nothing to do that with, especially working right now, like on very personal, like with personal connections and no budget and all that. It would be weird if I was to tell like a random actress or somebody that I know personally, there's a nude scene in here. So, but in the future,
Right,
I don't know. It'll be different if somebody else wrote a script and that I'm here to direct it. And like, if it serves the plot, I'm not about to like if it serves the plot and she's okay with it, and we make it up front and known, try to make it a very comfortable on set. I have no problem with it. But me personally, I don't think I would be writing that necessarily. Like sex scenes, alluding to it, I'm pretty sure I would do that in the future. But like, we don't need to show bam, bam, bam. Like we don't need to do all that.
Right,
We don't need to see because you already know how women get treated in the industry right now anyway. You don't want to exploit that anymore. Even
right.
more, I should say.
I've always said that when it comes to that, we need, if you're going to do it, we need more love making scenes than sex scenes, if that
Not,
makes sense.
not just like now.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you're going to
Make
do it,
it
at least show like
connection.
um candles lit around the room and like roses or flowers on the bed or something, instead of it just being a whole pound fest.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I don't want to watch Euphoria at all, because a
I
couple
heard
clips
this.
from those scenes, I was just like, I'm good.
I don't blame you. I
And
seen one, bro. Not to cut you off, but I've only seen the first episode of Euphoria. My cousin got literally the same cousin that I be acting with in my that's in my films and stuff. He got the family together for some reason. Like it's this new show, Euphoria. And mind you, he watched the episode before even coming to us. He's coming to us. 'Cause he's like, it's so good, y'all got to see it. And like we seen a few sex scenes. It's like the first sex scene that come up. Barely started watching it. We're just looking at him like, why would you show us this? Not think another one might have happened. I don't know, but the vibe was just like we ain't
just
here for
killed the
this.
vibe.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the episode since. Like I do want to check out the show, but like just to see what all the hype is about. But I heard that Sean Levison ain't the greatest creator necessarily.
Oh yeah, and I don't understand really the hype with Cindy Sweetie. I mean, yeah, she's cute, but other than that, I
I never
mean,
got it either. Like
I mean,
no,
good,
I personally I don't really like white women like that for real anyway. But
right?
she ain't somebody. You know, people on Twitter be like, "Oh, that's milk. That's milk." I am not here for it. That's just me personally. I'm not here for it. I'm gonna need to stand strong with my sisters.
Right.
And also, I have a girlfriend, by the way. We ain't going.
But my thing is, I do want to see more of that in film. Is more black on black love.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to do, my thing is, if you're going to do an interracial relationship with a black person, at least have it be with, I want to see a black woman and an Asian dude, or a black dude and I don't know,
Hispanic
Native
girl.
American woman.
No,
Yeah,
Native American. That's a good. Yeah,
yeah, something like that. I mean, it seems like anytime they think of an interracial relationship, it's always they always put us with a white person.
definitely. But I also do feel like sometimes this could be a lack of resources to get to these casting calls sometimes. Because I promise you, if you can act they socks off, they gonna change that script to make it a interracial relationship. But I feel like sometimes some people may not have the resources to fully know, like, oh, it's a casting call somewhere fairly close to me. I don't know how Hollywood and how these productions fully work, but I feel like it's just too much undiscovered talent and a lot of people that haven't had the opportunity to like really show themselves, to like really prove to these people, like, you know, my skin may not be white, but I can still act the same or
Right,
if not better than some of them people in this room right now.
right. Like I know what. Obviously, you want to. I can tell that you want to keep a very pro-black, very pro-black, not fan base, but a pro-black set,
Cast. Mhm. Yeah.
a pro-black cast, pro-black actors. But would you have you ever written a story or thought of an idea that didn't where maybe another race was the majority.
I
Maybe like
mean,
a note where Jordan Peele, the two main leads were black, but the um
that
Steve,
other guy,
yeah, the other guy was Asian, and I think the other one was Hispanic or something like that.
yeah.
Never thought about that.
Oh, I'll of course be down for that. I don't want to just only work with black people. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, there's so much undiscovered talent. Like there's undiscovered talent with us, but it's also undiscovered talent with other POCs and all that, and even white people. Like I'm not anti-white.
Right.
Like I work with everybody. It's just I want to keep blackness like the main thing. Like, and I don't want to necessarily make black stories necessarily. Like we can just be in a grocery store trying to get pizza. Turns out the pizza is a portal to somewhere magical. I don't know. Something
Right.
random and crazy. If a white person's tagging along for the story, he could. As of right now, my scripts are very anybody can literally do it. It's not like you read it and the subtext is like, oh yeah, this is a white person. This is a black person right here, based off of how he's dressing or how he's. I don't even put clothes descriptions in my scripts to be honest, but like off the dialogue, you can tell. But I ain't gonna lie, I do have slang sometimes in my dialogue, so you can maybe like automatically be like, oh yeah, this is a black person. But you know, any and everybody use slang nowadays,
Yeah.
especially. It may not be right all the time, but they use it.
Oh yeah, and oh god, this they just suck the fun out of everything when they do it.
Yes. One thing I hate right now is that yacht.
Oh,
Oh,
don't remind me. And the
mm-mm.
and when award shows now, I stopped watching. I made a video about this on my YouTube channel, but I stopped watching the Oscars in 2020 after they failed to give Scarlett Johansson, even though she's done some, problematic things. I
Ghost in the
still do,
Shell.
yeah, I still do think that she's a phenomenal actress. Like, I
Yeah,
think
she's
you can be
good.
a fan of someone, but still call them out on certain things.
100%. Depends on the thing they did. You
Yeah,
know,
but well, Kanye, I cut him off a long time ago. But
fully understandable.
um, yeah, 2020, I stopped watching the Oscars just because, I mean, she was nominated for two for Jojo Rabbit and what was the other one? Marriage Story, and she didn't win either. And after that, I was just like, okay, I'm done.
It's
But
rigged.
yeah, so how do you think? How do you? What's your stance on award shows and a lot of people putting a lot of emphasis on, oh, you don't like it? Wait, Draco, you don't like this movie? This actor won an Oscar for it. How can you not
Okay,
like it?
well, I do not. I do not necessarily care about that. Like, it's a great achievement. It's cool, and saying that can always help you in your own argument. But when you hearing it, you're like, eh. But when you want to use it and pull it out, then you're gonna be like, forget what I said the other day, but right now.
Right,
But like, it's an achievement. Who doesn't want to win an award? I'd want to, like, if I was to win an Oscar, like, oh snap, look at me. But at the same time, you shouldn't be, not saying you shouldn't shoot for it, because who doesn't want to shoot for critical acclaim? But at the same time, do what you want to do and make what you want to make, because they have a very specific criteria. It seems like I love horror movies. They don't give horror no love. If I make a horror movie, I'm not gonna expect. If I make horror movies, I'm not expecting no Oscar. I ain't expect nothing but audience acclaim. But when other people talk about it or try to downplay, like, bro, you ain't seen this Oscar movie, this movie that won 5 Oscars last night. Like, hey, sometimes people just don't care that much. Like, I'm not about to tell somebody to run and go see Oppenheimer. I liked Oppenheimer, not as much
right,
as everybody else, but like, if somebody tell me they ain't seen it and they don't want to see it, hey, it's 3 hours. I don't blame you. But some people just put too. Sometimes it can be too much emphasis on it. But loving movies, why would you not like an event for movies? So like, I get it, but it's just like Oscar movies have a very specific type of. I don't know. It's all drama. There's no real variety necessarily. The most variety is probably in the animation category.
Right. And so I honestly think if we need to get more BIPOC people on the board because, I'm tired of seeing. I mean, whenever we win an award, it's usually for in it's usually in the supporting category, and
Yeah.
it's usually. I mean, yeah, that's cool and all, but it's usually a stereotype. Like Mahershala Ali, absolutely love him. He's one of the best actors ever, but he won an award for playing a drug dealer and also being in a white savior film.
Whatever get the bills paid, man. Whatever get them bills paid. I don't know. But yeah, definitely we need more upfront roles, not stuff to just forget about. Like, oh, he's a supporting guy. Forget about him. We here for the main leading roles. Like Jeffrey Wright didn't win no Oscar, did he? For American Fiction? Did he get nominated at least?
Nah, he got nominated, but he didn't win.
You see, but Cora Jefferson, as a director, he won, right? He won Best Adapted Screenplay, something like that.
Well, I didn't watch it.
Oh, I don't either. I haven't watched the Oscars since like 2013 or something.
If I had to guess, if I were to look it up right now, I'm pretty sure Nolan won. I do know Oppenheimer swept this year.
I knew that was gonna happen.
And I mean, I can't remember your overall consensus of the film. I need to go back and rewatch it. I wasn't really too familiar with who Oppenheimer was. I just saw it because Nolan is the
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
But what was your idea going into the film and going out of the film? And have you gone back to revisit it since you first watched it?
I actually saw the movie twice. Opening day, technically, movies open like show on Thursday instead of Friday. They say it come out on Friday, but it came out before Friday. I watched it on a Thursday. I had very little sleep. I woke up like 2 hours before I needed to wake up because I worked the night shift. So me going to the show, getting enough sleep, going to the show, I gotta like plan it meticulously because the theater is literally down the street from my job. So I don't want to drive out there too early and I ain't got nothing to do. I want to get it close to my job time so it could be bam, sweep through. But Oppenheimer, I needed, well, not a need, but I wanted to see it in 70 millimeter. And this movie being 3 hours long, I couldn't just get up and see it at any showtime. So I had to pick a showtime that's close enough to my job. But I think they had a 5 o'clock show, 20 minutes worth of trailers, 5:20, let's say in at 8:30. That's close enough to my job time. I can find something else to do, but sacrificing that sleep. I went up in there with little sleep. I was watching the whole movie trying to hear the dialogue. I'm like, boy, what is going on?
Yeah.
my brain, I was watching it, but I wasn't fully there mentally. Because like I was like, and the crazy thing is I didn't even fall asleep. Like I was literally like in the middle of falling asleep and staying up, but I'm still paying attention. But my brain is like just hurting. Because I feel like when Nolan's pacing is very fast paced too, so I'm mentally not able to catch up on things. Like I'm like, bro, this is a 7 out of 10. Like the fact that I stayed up for the whole entire movie, obviously I liked it enough. But I already went in it the first time with very low expectations. Not low in a bad way, but like I'm not over here hyped for it. I rock with Nolan, but like I'm not like this is about to be peak cinema, bro. I'm expecting to like it, but like not love it.
Right.
But that first experience wasn't ideal. So a week later, not even a week, literally a few days later on a Sunday, went on Thursday, went again on Sunday. This time I seen it in IMAX. And I was awake. And I ended up giving it an 8.5 out of 10. I appreciated a lot of it, the elements more, dialogue-wise, cinematography-wise, just the way the story flows and goes through so much in only 3 hours. And the first time I watched it, I did not like the courtroom stuff. Second time I watched it, that's my favorite part of the movie. That whole like half hour, like the half hour, not half hour, but like, dang, no, I'm having a brain fart. The last hour, not half hour, last hour. That was like my favorite part with the courtroom stuff and all that. Because I don't know, I'm just sucked for courtroom dramas now, I guess. After seeing Anatomy of a Fall, I figured that out. But it's just the change. The mentality is different. I'm more awake. I'm noticing things more. I love appreciating dialogue and hearing stuff. So the general consensus definitely can change in just a few days. Not general consensus, your own opinion can change that fast. But in all
Yeah,
honesty, I have no real desire to check that movie out again for a very long time. I do own it somewhere over here that I can't find right now. But
but that's how I felt about Killers of the Flower Moon because, like, specifically the courtroom stuff, because I mean that didn't bother me as much as everyone else said it did, because everyone else that were talking about Killers of the Flower Moon, they said they enjoyed a majority of the film except the courtroom stuff.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people said that was when it kind of took a dive for them. But overall, I still enjoyed it. And
Yeah,
when I first saw like the trailer of it, I was just like, "Oh God, is this another white savior film?"
that's what you
And
would think.
yeah, and then when I looked into the backstory of it, and Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio were talking about how they were not going to make it that film, and it was
Good.
specifically to talk about the Osage tribe and that the massacres that happened with them. I said, okay, I love Martin, I love Leo, I can go into this open minded,
Hmm.
but that at first that 3.5 hour run.
Yeah, I'm like,
But
nah.
but for me, it breezed by, and
Yeah,
I only checked my phone once, and that was during the courtroom scenes.
which I get. I like the courtroom stuff. I wish Brendan Fraser was in it more. Like the first, his introduction was in the courtroom, right? Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wish he was in it more. I was expecting more of him, but sadly, nah. But the courtroom stuff, I rock with it because like they really locking in on them. They exposing them for who they
right.
are, and also with the runtime, I expected that. I was thinking I was gonna be in that theater like, oh my gosh, I want to leave so bad. No, I ain't even think like that. Like while you feel it, feel the runtime while it's going, like, dang, I've been here for a minute. It wasn't like I'm never doing that again, never know. It was kind of just
Right.
like act like when you think of the grand scheme of things, kind of went by.
Does a uh like what's her name, Melly Bobby Brown? She recently got some opinionated choices from. She recently got some kickback from fans
I,
saying when she said that she can't watch movies because they're
yeah,
too long. And one of my coworkers is actually like that. And she gave me like a list of TV shows to watch. And I'm like that with TV shows. So does a length of a show or a movie deter whether you want to watch it or not? And if so, does it deter your overall enjoyment of the film or your rating or if you're going to rewatch it again?
runtime 100% affects when I watch. I should say I'm not gonna not watch a movie because of the runtime, but if it's a long movie, 9 out of 10, I don't have enough time to mentally give you 3 hours of my time because I watch a lot of my movies at work. But while I'm also at work, I also got to do homework. And I can't like there's some movies that you can put on and not fully pay attention to. For
Right.
example, I was just watching Shrek the Third earlier. I don't gotta pay attention to Shrek the Third that much, but Goodfellas, I want to watch that. I gotta like forget the homework. I need to get a day like that's why like over the summer when I got no homework, no nothing, I'm coming home. I'm gonna be at work watching everything. Like I have a lot of movies that are like 2.5 hours that I want to check out. There's a movie called Victoria that I'm trying to watch for the longest time. I just ain't been ready to commit 2.5 hours because
Yeah.
it's also not in English as well. So I gotta give up.
Oof.
So I gotta mentally be like, I'm free. I can give you all my attention. I'm here. So that's definitely a big factor. But it never deters me because I like a lot of long movies. Like Django is literally one of my favorite movies ever. I would watch that movie right now, to be honest. But what's the name? It's long, but it's not a bad long. It's
Right.
long in a way where it's like this is something I like, and to be honest, I'll take 30 more minutes. In all honesty, I'll make it a 3 hour movie. Like same with Wakanda Forever. I said they could push it to 3 hours. I'll still be here. I rocked with it heavy. So it could also it's sometimes a 2.5 hour movie can be, not in your favor if you don't like the movie. Cause like dang, the movie's so long, it's so draining and blah 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 blah. But when you like it, it's good.
Right.
Kind of double standard in a way.
I mean, there are few like Casino, Jackie Brown. Those are about 3 hours, and I love those films. Uh, Nolan's movies, almost all of his movies are close to 3 hours, and I love
Mm-hmm.
Nolan.
Yep, same.
There are few movies that are 3 hours I dislike. I absolutely hate Titanic. That movie is just
I've
so
never seen it yet.
freaking boring. Like
But
just
dude,
just crash the
it's
ship already.
but nah, I heard that the movie was 3 hours and 12 minutes, and I was like, y'all was doing that back then? My dad even said he saw it in theaters with a girl. I'm like, that's some commitment right there. 3 hours and 12 minutes. Hey,
Right.
that's
And,
pushing it.
and have you and the links of TV shows and film, do you, when you're writing something and you're trying to figure out where to start and where to end, are you thinking, like, when you look at how many pages you've written, are you thinking to yourself, would I sit and watch this for this long?
Hmm, that's a good question. I have not thought that yet because realistically, y'all ain't got no choice. When y'all click that video on YouTube, you better lock in.
Right.
But I know people's attention span is just terrible now. Like Millie Bobby Brown saying that movies are too long. Insanity. Like an hour and a half is not crazy at all. Like I'm gonna be real. When I was younger, a 2 hour movie seemed like dang, this movie long, 2 hours. Because as a
Right.
kid, you used to like being in and out with the cartoons and stuff. Like most kids' movies are like an hour and a half, some even an hour 45. And nowadays, some kids' movies be pushing 2 hours. They be pushing that too.
Yeah.
But I feel like 2 hours is more of the norm now. And realistically, you can give 2 hours of your time. Because people sit up here and watch TikTok for 2 hours straight, just scrolling. Or even watch a 30-minute episodic TV show back to back to back to back. You just spent 5 hours watching this now. Or even
Right.
now, with a lot of TV shows, you're getting 40-minute episodes, 50-minute episodes, and all that. So it's like TV shows are more of a commitment than a movie. That's a big reason why I don't watch TV as much as I want to, because you can get through one episode that's like 40 minutes. You can watch another one that's like 40 minutes. But then it's like I could be logging a movie on Letterbox in the time I'm doing this. That letterbox
Right.
that letterbox grind is something serious. But what I'm saying?
Well, like I'm watching what's Fallout right now, and to be honest, I didn't even want to watch the series, but a very close friend of mine on TikTok, I saw her talking about it, and she like really, I saw just how excited she was just to talk about it, and I was just like, maybe I should check this show out. I've never played any of the video games, so maybe this could be my doorway into
Mm-hmm.
possibly getting into the video games.
Yeah. And did you like it, or are you liking it?
So far, I think it's picked up on episode three, four-ish. On episode six, but so far it's been pretty damn good.
I gotta check it out. I only had one experience with Fallout. My dad randomly, this is back in the like 10 years ago type of thing. He had got me Fallout 4 on Redbox. I know you remember Redbox. Or do you have
Yeah,
Redbox by you? But yeah, he randomly came and gave me that. And I was like, oh, let me play this. Let me try this out. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe maybe it's because of my age. I wasn't fully like mentally mature enough to play a game like that, where you gotta actually think and like it's well not think, but like it's an open world type game. It's not like straight action. You gotta explore, find stuff, and do all that and learn the different mechanics. It's not something that like I was like maybe like 10 or 11. I wasn't used to
Right.
stuff like that. I feel like if I played it now, though, I would appreciate it and like it a lot more, though.
Yep. Oh, and use it, and kind of like me, it's um it takes a lot for me to put a lot of energy into TV shows because, like you said, I could be logging a movie I haven't seen on Letterboxd or a movie I have seen but haven't logged.
Hmm.
But what was, if you could remember, what was the last TV show that you actually watched and actually was invested in?
Um, Recently, I finished part 2 of Invincible. That was like last week. Last week or 2 weeks ago. I believe last week, but I don't like that break. But I was locked in, and I've been busy with school and stuff, so I wasn't watching it episodically. So literally in one day, I watched the last 4 episodes, and I was like, "This is pretty cool." I don't fully like the way it ended. I feel like the ending was a little abrupt change. Because like the way that it was being set up. Did you watch it? Invincible?
No.
I ain't gonna say too much. But I was just saying like the way that I felt the story, the narrative was going, it's like a full 180 switch. Like they kind of built it up, but for the episodes I was seeing, it wasn't fully getting built up. But you don't know what I'm saying, and I'm glad you know what I'm saying. But I don't
Yeah,
know if it was just me.
people keep telling me to watch that and The Boys.
The Boys is very good. Get on it, and Gen V, you should get on it. Now, I will be real. I do like during the school year, I movied up. I'll put on a movie while I do homework. Recently, I would rather put on a show because shows, especially like a 30-minute little comedy, you don't got to use your brain that much, especially if it's a show that you've already seen. Like I
Right.
watched all 15, not even 15, I think 18 seasons of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I watched that in under 2 months, I believe. So
I
like I was
love.
flying by them. So something like that, I'll gladly, especially that's like one of my favorite shows. I've seen it like 3 times a full now. I will gladly rewatch it like that. But like when you start talking about the hour-long episodes, that's when it's kind of
Yeah.
like I've been saying for the longest I need to watch Haunting a Hill House, but I just haven't been able to get my time like I need to. But the thing is, I can easily go watch a movie right now.
Right.
But the thing is, a movie you want one and done, in and out. Even if it's a series, you don't gotta watch the next thing right after. But a TV show, you want to be like, I need it now. But I feel like I just need to break that mentality because you don't need to watch. You don't need to binge. Netflix done got us hooked on binging.
Right. And I mean, honestly, I don't like the idea of binging anymore. I think
Neither
I've
do I.
been mentally drained from it because Netflix and some of these other some of these other
Streaming service.
streaming services have pumped out shows with 8 episodes all at the same time, and I think it's better to let the audience get a chance to dissect and talk about the episode weekly.
Yep.
And I I like that excitement. So I
Hmm.
mean, I what's your preference on the the weekly versus the binge? Do you think binge is hurting more than helping? What's your
Yeah.
stance on that?
I am a weekly guy. I grew up watching TV, a lot of TV as a kid. I love media in general, music, TV, movies, all of it. Weekly is definitely my preference. One is more easily digestible at once. So you can commit to other things, but also staying committed to the TV show because you only got to think about it for one day only. And that's the day it dropped or the day after, whenever you're free. If you miss a week, 2 episodes back to back ain't gonna hurt. But trying to binge, like, cause like if shows now are all about hour-long episodes, 40 to an hour, that's like 8 hours of your time right there. And
Right.
like realistically, if it's good enough, you're gonna lock in and just be like, bam, bam, episode, episode, episode. But at the same time, you ain't like it's good, but like I ain't finna commit my whole day to it or nothing like that. So I feel like weekly is easily digestible because like when you just watch stuff back to back to back to back, it may hook you in and be good. But imagine how good it will be when you gotta wait and the anticipation for the next
Right.
week. Like for example, right now I'm watching the Chucky series. That's happening weekly. Um and
Is it half an hour?
is it happening? I think it's pushing 40 to 50 minutes with
Mm,
commercials. And I don't know, because realistically, there's besides commercials, there's no real big difference between a 30-minute comedy and something that's like 40 minutes long. But my brain be accumulating all of that. I guess it'll be so long to watch Better Call Saul because I'm thinking of it like this is 10 hours per season. I gotta map out my day to watch it, and I like you don't need to think that deep, realistically.
right.
But but it's like it's just it seemed like it's a lot because like Better Call Saul was 5 seasons, 50 episodes, 10 episodes per season. So it seemed like a lot. Like, dang, this is 50 hours worth of TV. Oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming. But like, it don't need to be overwhelming. But if I was watching it weekly, I wouldn't even be tripping. I'd just be like, okay,
Right.
okay. But binging, it has a time and a place. I seen something on Twitter about this topic. The TV shows that are kind of like, you know, mm, go ahead and release it all at once. People can talk about it. It comes in, the conversation is out. But the stuff that's like good, get them rubbing their hands every week, like I need it, give it to me, because that
Right.
hype, that anticipation is gonna keep the longevity up. But streaming services, they ain't probably anything too hard about that, because now people have been too, um, I don't know, pampered, but I don't know, they just used to getting everything all at once now. So when you see something like Disney release stuff weekly, they're like, just give me the whole show. But no, give it to me once a week. I prefer it.
Right. Like the only streaming services I pay for is Crunchyroll
Mm-hmm.
because of anime,
Mm-hmm.
uh Amazon Prime, and what's the other one? Disney Plus. And my dad, he pays for Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
and oh yeah, and I pay for ESPN Plus. So I pay for four. My dad pays for two, which is Hulu and HBO Max. But there is nothing. I had to cancel my Netflix last year. I put everyone in a group chat. I was like, "Hey, family, one of y'all gonna have to pay for the streaming service because I'm not paying $30 a month for password sharing."
Mm-mm. Nope. Or at least put in on it.
Right. And plus, I feel like there's not a lot of good shows on Netflix. Most of the stuff that's on Netflix is movies I already have on my shelf, or even if it's like original stuff on there, there aren't a lot of original TV shows and films on there that I particularly love.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm be real. I haven't touched Netflix in a little minute. Like genuinely, like every time I want to watch a movie, I'll Google where's it streaming, and I go to that app and watch it. A lot of times it ain't been Netflix. Most recent thing I watched on Netflix was the documentary about the "We Are the World" charity thing, the song and all that. Pretty
Yeah.
interesting. There's some Netflix originals that I do definitely want to check out, but like I'm not like running to it. If I had to pay for my own streaming services, Netflix would not be the most sought after right now. I pay for Hulu before Netflix. I've been saying this since 2018. Actually, Hulu has always been better in my opinion. The originals are higher quality, at least from what I've seen. At least from what I've seen, I should say. And the selection, I feel like, is a little bit better, at least for what I want to watch. I got to put emphasis on that because people like to take things personal.
I agree. I definitely agree with you.
I, like, like back in high school, 2018, remember my auntie gave me her Hulu password. My life changed. I was watching everything. I said, Netflix ain't never give me this many options. Like, even to this day, Hulu'd up.
And so I think you can get a Disney Plus Hulu like combo for like $10 or some 10
something
90
like that.
10 something like that. I know it's far less than Netflix.
Because I didn't even know Netflix prices was getting that high to 30. I don't want to
Yeah, they
like
are up in
15.
yeah, they're upping the prices on a lot of streaming services, which is why I think a lot of people are canceling theirs.
As I should. The only thing that I would even consider paying $30 for is HBO Max. But even then, I would.
Yeah. Yeah, and most of the usually even if there is a original film or TV show on a certain streaming service that I love, I'll go on eBay to see if I can find it
Because why
because
pay for a month when you can
yeah, because I
get
guarantee you that if they don't sell the DVD in the United States, they sell it somewhere else. They sell it in Canada
mm-hmm,
or China or something, and I always look for the English version if
mm-hmm,
they don't have a formal Blu-ray version of a TV show or movie that's exclusive to a streaming service in America.
mm-hmm. That's the best way to do it these days.
Like I just got I got this like a month ago, the Bear the TV show. I have
Hmm.
that. That's not even
Oh wow. It's a mod.
available. Yeah, that's not even available in in the country when it comes to physical media.
That's pretty
That
cool though.
was transported like from Canada or something like that from another country.
That's pretty cool. We gotta normalize it. Because I don't think Hulu's gonna give up on the bear. The Hulu and FX collab has been very good with them working together, but you never know. One of them may want to push, another one might want to pull, and they might go their separate ways. You never know. But I don't
Yeah,
know. Do they? I don't know if they own it, or if they just collab, and I don't know. But
I
when we
do.
get
I think it's kind of like the relationship that FX had with Always Sunny. But I
probably
don't. This kind of bothers me a lot. But the fact that I love that the Bear is winning all these awards, but it should be in the drama category. It is not a
thank
comedy.
you. Some people say it's a dark comedy. No, I put drama before it even being a dark comedy. And I'm gonna be real. The movie has not the movie. The show has funny moments, but I'm not laughing as much as I would watching an actual comedy. Cause
Right,
they be up there talking about some real stuff. They be going deep in that trauma bag.
right. And I mean, that's not the only issue. I mean, they did that with what was the movie called? May December. They put that in the comedy category. May
I
December.
noticed that. What for the Golden Globes or the Oscars or something like that?
Yeah,
I was
Golden
like,
Globe.
I ain't seen the movie, but with this subject matter, I don't see nothing funny.
Yeah, and yeah, and with that film, I mean, phenomenal film. I think that got snubbed at the Oscars. But to say that, like, what did y'all find funny about that?
Yeah, it wasn't like comedy or musical at that.
Right,
The music, like, ain't no singing, ain't no jokes. They probably was just like, oh, we don't got no categories. Got to put it somewhere.
right. And I do think it was kind of silly that no hate to her, but I do think it was kind of silly that what's her name? Rachel Ziegler won Best Action Star over Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise.
What did she win? Rachel Ziegler. What was she
This
in
was the
again?
People's Choice Awards like a couple of months ago. I saw this on like TikTok, and I was
No,
just
we talking about for what's in the Hunger Games?
yeah. I have not seen that film, but
Neither have I.
just based on those names, I'm like, yeah, there's no way that you put in as much physical capability as Keanu and Tom. No disrespect to her. She's
Yeah,
a cool person, but they are very like they put in a lot of hard work for for their age.
yeah. Because Tom Cruise is like 62 or something like that right now,
Yes.
and Keanu, he's probably just turned 60, something like that, or he's like turning 60. And it's crazy. They still out here, bop, 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 like y'all 60.
Right.
Like that's crazy. still running and jumping off of stuff and flipping and falling.
and and she's gonna be in the new remake of of what's it called, Snow White,
I
Snow White and
heard.
the Seven Dwarfs. But I mean, what's your what's your idea of? I mean, what do you think of all of these sequels and remakes and reboots? If there is a movie like any classic film or a great film that had like a bad film with a great premise, what if you could like redo anything, what would it be?
Dude, I
And
have
what's your idea, what's your thought process on like all these remakes and reboots and stuff?
I'm not against remakes, but the thing is they need to be done right. The same way with sequels. I'm not against sequels. Like they fall in reboots, remakes, sequels, they fall under the same category. Because they get treated the same as just being cash grabs and all that. In my opinion, reboots give a fresh coat of paint to a good story. Because you can fundamentally be the same, but you can just update it for today's standards. But you got to still differentiate yourself from the past, and that's where they might get a little too, a little too off the rails a little bit. But at the same time, people are so critical nowadays. You can give them exactly what they would say they want if you go a different direction, but in an alternate universe that happens, and they hate it and say you should do something different. But here, when you do something different, they want this. It's like you can't truly win people over. I don't
Right.
know. I don't fully know how. If I had to do a remake of a beloved movie, I have to prepare for some backlash because I'm gonna try my best. Not saying I'm prepared to make a bad movie, but classics are held at some people like grew up on this movie. Some people seen that movie 40 plus times and hold it near and dear to their heart. And you come in and change something from it, they gonna feel offended, which you shouldn't. It's just a movie,
Right.
but that's just how people view like fandoms and all that. So it's definitely a hard thing to do. But the people don't realize there's some reboots and remakes that have been classics. But the thing is, nobody's caring about the original. Like Scarface, people love Scarface. They don't know that's a remake or a reboot. Ain't nobody talking about the original from the 40s. Don't nobody care about that one for real.
Right.
There's people probably in their 30s who didn't know it's a remake, if not 40s, I should say.
Yeah, like A Star Is Born with Bradley Cooper
Yeah, like
and
five remakes.
yeah, there's like three other films with the same premise, the same name, the same idea. There's like three other films before that, and the original came out in like 1940 something.
Exactly. And then I heard it's another movie that is a remake, but it's called something else, but I don't know the name of it. But yeah, but the thing is, if it's good, nobody's gonna care. And
Right.
especially also if it's like society as a whole and the culture, pop culture is separated from the past thingy. But a big issue now is when you think about the 2000s and the 80s, that 20-year difference, it feels like a lot. But when you think about 2022 and now the 2020s, it seemed like that just happened yesterday. So like the Mean Girls movie, for example, even though it's not a remake, it's a musical movie, a movie from the musical, but the musical is based on the movie, so it kind of is a remake in a way. It just doesn't feel like pop culture is disconnected enough for it to be like a fresh new idea. Because a lot of people my age, for example, probably just watched Mean Girls not too long ago. Like maybe
Right.
like I don't know, maybe 6 years ago when it was like 14. I don't know. So it's like it's still kind of fresh on their mind and in pop culture and it's still relevant. But if you remake some niche movie from the 2000s, ain't nobody gonna care. It's gonna be that one little fan base on Twitter like, bro, that guy that gave us a remake, everybody praise the Lord, or they're ruining such a classic, but it got a
Yeah.
2.7 on Letterboxd. Like, but if I were to remake a movie, I would want to remake Blank Man. I watched Blank Man and I was like, and I seen how it got panned, critically panned, didn't make no money back. It's a Damon Wayans movie.
Okay.
I would definitely like. I feel like that premise is very good and can what's the name? It could be done good amount of times. Plus, he's black. He's a superhero. Black superhero. Come on now. But the thing is, I don't know if anybody would want to be there for a Blank Man remake. But I don't know. But maybe that's the point. The fact that nobody would want to necessarily be there for it without knowing what it is. maybe you give them the opportunity to do that. Another movie I would possibly remake would be Jingle All the Way. I like that movie a lot. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It is a Christmas classic, but like out of all the Christmas classics, I feel like it's kind of lower tier. And people
Yeah,
now, I recently found out it's not really was received that well. I thought it was a banger. Like everybody knows about it, but that don't mean they know about it in a good light. But it is kind of he does some crazy things. He's over here shaking the old lady, uh, punching a reindeer, giving a reindeer alcohol. Like
that's just insane.
he does some crazy things. Then chasing trying to get the little kid in the mall, getting jumped by the women for thinking he's a predator. Like they wouldn't be doing that stuff nowadays. And people like
Right.
some things he does kind of. It's just the '90s, you know. I feel like I can give it. And also, it's kind of like there's a simpler solution to it. He kind of goes all over the place for the sake of going all over the place. I feel like while watching, I'm like, I feel like I can make a condensed enough story that makes a lot more sense. Still get a movie 9 out of 10 due to nostalgia, but it could be
Right.
done better. Then also the bomb threat stuff. This is a kids movie. Why are
Uh,
we talking about bomb threats?
Me personally, I feel like you can make a joke out of anything as long
Yeah,
as it's not like you can make fun of pretty much anything. Like Tropic Thunder, I absolutely love that film. Like
yes,
black people, we love Robert Downey Jr.
yes,
in that film, and it's mainly because they were making fun of method actors and they weren't
mm-hmm.
doing any coonish stuff and
Yeah,
wasn't making fun of black people. That's why it's funny because how
yes.
over the top and ridiculous it is, and the black actor being like, "Dude, you're not even black. You're Australian."
Exactly. And that would be different if they're like doing some type of black satire or like critiquing black people. I don't know. It was nothing
Right.
disrespectful. People nowadays want to make it a problem. Non-black people have more of a problem with it than black people, which I find crazy. If the
Yeah.
people ain't saying nothing, you don't gotta say nothing. We don't need an advocate. We good over here.
Right. I do appreciate. I mean, I do appreciate the love and the respect that the allies have for calling it out,
Yeah.
but I think they're looking at it from a different lens, and I think a lot of
Hmm.
those people are either related to black people or best friends with a black person or their significant other is a
Yeah.
black person.
Yeah. Definitely. And like, I'm glad you're here with us. But we good for now. We good. But
Right.
it definitely is crazy. Like if you don't know the context, you're just seeing that, you're kind of like, not Iron Man, he's doing blackface. No, but hey, it's cool. Like my friends haven't seen it, and I'll be trying to tell them. I'm like, next time we hang out, we all at what's the name house. I'm bringing Tropic Thunder. We watching it. They're like, nah, I ain't about trying to watch that racist movie. Like, bro,
I don't know. They will laugh their ass off when they
oh, I
see
know
it.
they would.
Like I love watching white people react to that film on YouTube because they are so uncomfortable. But that's what makes it funny.
Exactly, because you don't need to be uncomfortable, but you also don't need to be laughing too hard either.
Right. But I mean, to close this out, is there any thoughts you have? Anything you want to promote at all?
Check out my YouTube channel at Draco Maze. As I stated earlier, I am a filmmaker. We talked about that earlier. I love me some movies. I'm gonna love making some movies as well. This summer, I'm definitely gonna be doing more projects, and also other than just short film projects, I will be doing a reaction series where I react to my old work because I also make music videos. I got short films from high school, different projects from high school, so I'm gonna be critiquing my old work pretty much. Just gonna be pumping out the content music video wise. I got open mic videos, interviews. Like I do a lot. I'm a multifaceted man. Also checking my Instagram. Pretty much everything on here is Draco Maze. Look up Draco Maze. You're gonna see a familiar light skinned man, probably.
Okay, respect, respect. And for anyone, for anyone looking for my socials, it's the same thing under here. But keep up to date um with with what Draco's got going on, future movie director here. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Sit down with us and just talking about films and TV shows and all that stuff. And until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your night.
But hold on though, hold on real quick before you stop recording. I did skip over when you asked me about how I do script writing or like improvisation, like things on set and all that. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
I was talking about one specific part of it. I didn't get to explore that section of it. So like just for the sake of the videos, I don't want to seem like I just ignored what you said.
Oh well. Okay. Well, go ahead and then explain it now.
Well, on a set, my script, I feel like I gotta follow it pretty much the same because you gotta shoot it from three different angles. You gonna get one like let's see, we're both on screen right now. If
Yeah.
let's say you're standing next to me for the shot, two of us right here talking to each other, talk, talk, talk. Then I gotta get one where it's just me on camera, and then one where it's just you on camera. You gotta intercut all that to be one seamless conversation. Even though you shot it here, here, and here, different times, but you got to make it seem like it's happening all at once. So when y'all start improvising and getting off the script, and I got a different shot of you saying something else, it ain't gonna match up. So I try to follow the script pretty much, unless I plan on just using a one shot. I'm like, y'all can improvise it, but y'all still got to hit the beats to flow into the next thing. Because one thing with my script writing, I try to like give information or segue into things without blatantly saying it. So one thing I just wrote fairly recently, two friends who go to the same college, but they don't see each other at school as much. They talk about, oh, this your only class for today? Yeah, bro, I just got this lame like writing class. But let me brain fart. He's like, yeah, I got this lame writing class, but I got the rest of my classes online. And he's like, oh, how's that been going? It's going cool. Do a little bit of homework here, go to work, chill for the rest of the day. Oh, so you still working? Instead of him just coming out, yeah, I'm just working, going to school and all that. Like, it seemed like a
Yeah.
natural conversation. You mention it, they ask the question, that segues in, and then him mentioning work, he talks about, oh yeah, my job's going good. And guess what? Also at my job, I met a girl. And that's where the main story centers around. Him telling the story of how he met this girl, and his friend tells the story of how he met a girl. And guess what? They might be talking to the same girl. And it all started from just talking about school.
Right.
So if y'all start veering off and improvising, and which they do when we get on screen, like when I'm recording and I'm hearing the script, I'm like, they low key skipped over some lines, but they still making the conversation work. But like they're missing them vital key conversation flowers and goers. I don't know the correct terminology, but you got to hit it. But of course, that's just like how I've written that specific thing. There's of course going to be things where I write less segue type conversations.
Right.
But I definitely do think it's a room for improvisation, and especially if you got experienced actors, y'all can make it work.
And I also forgot to ask this. Have you written any full length films at
Mm-mm.
all?
I haven't gotten that ambitious yet. I'm just now really honing in on my screenwriting. The longest I've written is a 15-page script. I literally just did it like 2 days ago, actually. I was just literally flowing and going. I shouldn't even been writing that script. I have an essay due fairly soon. Should have been working on that essay, but I was like, that 3 a.m. inspiration hits you, and you got to get to going. So I wrote it about a date night. Uh, People go on a date, they talk and blah blah blah. The girl ends up getting an allergic reaction to the food for some strange reason. They put pistachios on the pork chops, trying to be fancy. She had a nut allergy. She didn't notice the menu's not in English. Then guess what? They off after the date, they in the car driving. She's kind of going through it. My throat hurts. I'm gonna just lay back in the back seat and chill. She's not paying attention. He's driving. There's a billboard with a wanted sign that looks like a girl that looks just like her. I haven't finished the story, but that's kind of where it's going. He might be messing with a felon. I don't know.
Yeah,
So, but I feel like with this story, when I flesh it out more, it might hit 30 minutes, a 30 minutes script. Because
that's dope.
I'm already at 15, and that's just where the inciting incident really happens.
But and what do you do typically when you have you ever gotten writer's block? And what do you do when like what do you do to get out of it?
I don't think I've reached the point of having writer's block because I don't write script. Like I promise you, I just really, really, really started writing scripts. But since I'm still in college and I'm doing a lot of smaller projects, stuff with no budget and all that, I'm thinking kind of small term and like realistically being able to do it. And then
Right.
on top of that, I'm doing stuff for a project, so I got to keep it under a certain time frame. But I don't think it's necessarily that writer's block. It may be more of a the creativity's not there. I wouldn't call it writer's block. It's more like a I don't know what to write at all. I have a whole bunch of stories. Like I have a notebook where I write a whole bunch of stories. I even text myself ideas that I randomly get so I don't forget them. But I just really need to like actually think about it. And I don't even know if it's a writer block issue. More of like I gotta sit with the idea because every day a new experience will come to inspire you. Every day something will happen. So once I start this summer, I plan on writing a lot more. I'm sure I might get writer's block after typing up a whole bunch of scripts because I don't want to sound repetitive. I don't know the direction something's gonna go in, but like this is why you gotta watch the movies and get inspired.
Right.
Cause I don't like I watch movies for fun and all that, but like I'm actually paying attention. Even if it's not the best made movie, there's still something to take from it creatively, writing wise, something wise you can learn. If they do something bad, you can learn what not to do.
Yeah. Like got one thing I'm never going to do as a director is all that slow motion crap that
Yeah,
Zack
no.
Snyder does.
Dude, I shoot music videos and I despise 60 frames per second. 60 frames per second, 180, like 180, that's when you do a super cool slow motion. They got slow motion that's so high now, probably nearing 50,000 frames per second, probably on a super expensive camera. But if I don't even like the slow motion music videos, which there's a time and a place, I don't think I'm gonna be doing it in my films for real. Unless
Right.
it's like serviceable for the a joke or something, but action, man, just make it, make it, make it, make it, make it. I don't need a make it. No, just show it.
Right. And there's always a time and a place for it. Like, okay, like showing the flash run in slow motion or catching something in slow motion. It's cool the first time around, but we don't need to see it all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Because even in the Flash movie when he's running, it's not necessarily. It's like slow to him, but to us, he would just be looking like. Meow. So
Yeah.
I understand why they did it in that movie, but with like Zack Snyder, talking about like when he was in Zack Snyder Justice League, right? That's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one in since it came out. I genuinely don't remember nothing from that movie, but I'm sure it's full of slow motion. But yeah, slow motion is like I said, time and place, but he definitely does overdo it. Like it'll
Yeah.
be different if it was like to emphasize one motion, but don't emphasize the whole fight scene like that.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Cause that really mess with the pacing of it all. Cause you want to see stuff happening, slice, stab, punch, bam. But now we taking 5 minutes extra because you want to stab,
Yeah.
explosion, fall. Like moral story, time and a place. It can be cool, but it ain't that cool.
Yeah. And so I could see, I could tell that you were kind of getting little, getting something in your eye.
Full of some little
But,
eye buggers because I was taking a nap before this.
oh, but shoot, like I said, guys, thanks for joining me and Draco for having us nerd out over our favorite films and our
Yes.
passion for filmmaking and TV shows and while the close this out, what have been what to close this out, what has been some of your favorite films that you've seen this year, and what are you excited for that hasn't come out yet?
This year, surprisingly, I love Doom 2. I'm not the biggest fan of the first Doom. I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would, but Doom 2 genuinely surprised me. 5 out of 5. Liked it a lot. Book of Clarence, a very underrated movie. People have already forgotten about it, sadly. And by the end of the year, even more people forget about it.
I think
Just
that
one,
came out during a pretty bad month. January wasn't good.
yeah. But the thing is, it also had no competition either.
Yeah.
Because if they pushed it to March, everybody's gonna be talking about Doom. February, also pretty slow, but I feel like I don't know where it would place. Because right now we having a lot of stuff people talk about: Monkey Man, Civil War, and Abigail a little bit. But January might have been the best time for that. But I am excited to see Deadpool and Wolverine, of course. Bad Boys, the new Bad Boys, definitely. I'm interested to see Borderlands. I just recently played the first Borderlands for the first time. I grew up playing the second one with my dad, so I'm excited to see how they do that. Alien Romulus, definitely. I'm also seeing the original Alien in theaters uh, this weekend, probably. But that's pretty much the main ones right there. Everything else, I'm of course gonna check out. But excitement wise, those are Beetlejuice 2, I should say. I
I
love
still
Beetlejuice.
haven't seen the first one. Is it that good?
It's that good to me because it's nostalgic for me. But it is a good movie. But it's good. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I definitely had
Let me
to
see.
watch that before it comes out, and
Cause
it comes out during
oh
Spooky
snap,
Month, right?
I think it does. But this right here is from Beetlejuice. This is the book from Beetlejuice.
Mm.
That's how much I like the movie. I bought the book and I actually write in it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check out the movie before the sequel because I
Yeah,
love Jenna Ortega,
she's a rising star for real.
and I want her. I want to work with her one day. I actually want to reunite the screen cast and have them all be in one of my films
That would
because I
be
want to, like you, I want a majority of my cast in my films to be BIPOC actors,
hmm
and I do want them to play sisters again in one of my films.
that would be cool. I'll be there day one.
Mm. And for anyone that didn't remember or forgot, plug your socials again.
Draco Maze. Draco Maze. I promise you can Google Draco Maze, you can find me. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Draco Maze it up. You may or may not have to put the 97, I don't know, but I'm gonna be there.
And thanks for watching, guys. And hopefully, hopefully next time we'll get a bigger chunk of people in here to talk about. Maybe we'll have a discussion. Some towards the end of the year, I would love to have uh, a top 10 of our favorite films of this year. I think that
hmm
would be great with
That would be.
some of our friends from Cinemark Squad. I think that'd be freaking phenomenal.
hmm Definitely would.
But until then, guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and check. Of course, check out Draco's page to see everything that he's got going on. Future film director, future
hmm
Oscar winner.
hmm
And until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the rest of your night, and until then, stay nerdy, stay safe, all that stuff.
hmm